I'm Dave Daly with KeizerTV.com. We're here today at the Keizer Fire District Fire Station, and we're going to talk today with Jesse Villarreal. He was with Keizer Fire many years ago as a volunteer, and now in 2018, everybody, this is the 70th year that a fire service has been here in Keizer. Even before Keizer was a city, there were a group of people who had come together to protect the buildings here in Keizer. And Jesse, thanks for talking with us here today.
You're welcome. Happy to be here myself.
We are so excited to hear about these wonderful stories of this great camaraderie of both volunteers and paid staff, and how it started with one engine instigated by one of our first store owners said we need an engine in town, and and now and to hear the stories of this original hat that you wore, ran into many burning buildings. Everybody, it's cracked, it's dented. That the original seal of Keizer Fire District is here on the side. But Jesse, first and foremost, we'll hear how it all came to be, but we just want to say thank you to you for your time making Keizer a safer place. I'm sure life as a first responder, there's just no way to know what you're going to roll up onto. And so for all those years of protecting, let us just first and foremost say thank you for joining this great camaraderie of this great service that has served our community. But going back to that story of how you joined Keizer Fire District, share with our audiences how that happened.
My story began in 1963. And I happened to be working in one of the local grocery stores, not Sam's, a grocery store here in town. And one of the vendors that came and supply goods for our store was an acting chief for the department at that time, my old friend Jim Nightingale, and may he rest in peace. There was no strangers for him. He talked to anybody that would confront him. Jim asked me, because of my question about a long-sounding siren in the middle of the night, that it was in the neighborhood, and Jim told me, it described the incident as a house fire, and the reason for the long-sounding siren was the fact that they had few volunteers to respond, and asked me if I would. I asked Jim at that time how much it would pay, and he told me that this was a community volunteer program that they had, and they were looking for help. I'm happy to say that ever since that time, my foundation in life has been as a volunteer, helping others, and it's been a good journey for me, and I'm glad that I'm here and that you have taken the opportunity to tell the people how great a community Keizer was and is and has been. And it's always been an honor to remember the names that I have some memoirs that I've saved over the years, and to just look over the names at those times, the Sam Orcutt's and the Jim Nightingales and the Dwayne Sanfords and the John Sanford. The Sanford boys, Jim, Dwayne, and John, were the first ones responding to any type of a fire. Back in those days, volunteerism was one of the things to do, especially for the community of Keizer. And in fact, the insurance company tested us one time, and there were, out of the 50-plus members that we had here, 49 responded in less than 2 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a great honor to be part of the fire department. We were known across the state as the boys from Keizer. And it was good. We had our good times, and we were always ready to go and serve others that we did in the community. It was a great story.
Well, it's fantastic. And, we look at these photos you brought here today, the picture of those 5 yellow engines. What'd you call them, the bumblebees?
The bumblebees. It was quite a difference, because there were few engines in the country that were other than red. I mean, a fire engine red was a most common, but Keizer had yellow, and it was bright, and it was joyful, and it was good. It was good to have that color, and I remember those are the things that are engraved in my mind: the yellow fire engines, fire trucks, whatever they were. But yeah, we used to have the red ones too. and it was fun. It was fun working with the department.
And another photo you showed us was this impeccable floor of the firehouse. Share with us the story of why that floor was so clean and what were the rules.
We had a young man at that time. We were all young. We had a young man by the name of Arnie Boland, and he was always around the fire department, and in fact, he became one of the paid men, and his engine floor was impeccable. I mean, it was spotless, and if we ever came, because this was our first stop from work, we stopped at the fire station first before we even went home. Wow. But don't you dare step on that floor because Arnie will kill you. And he kept it so clean and shiny that it was his pride and joy. This was his department, and so he always maintained it very clean.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah.
And you know, Keizer Fire's always been a well-trained group of men and women, has it not? Tell us about how the training was back in those days.
Back in those days, we trained every Monday. Every Monday evening, we gathered here in the station, and Dwayne was a good teacher. Sam was a good teacher. Sam was a person, one of the captains, that never raised a voice, never screamed or yelled or scolded anyone. He was always very calm and collective, and the training consisted of pulling the hose, running some water, gathering the hose, loading it up, pulling it again, and doing it again until we did it right. Wow. And it was, we were all volunteer. We were here because we wanted to. We were here because my career consisted of 34 years in the fire service after I left Keizer. Wow. And I would tell the paid men as my career went on that the volunteer firemen were the true American hero. The paid people came, but they got paid for being here. The volunteers came and worked just as hard or harder, but because we wanted to. Yeah. We had that feeling of belonging to a community, of protecting the community, and our biggest reward was to see the joy. Any Easter egg hunt, any Mother's Day breakfast, any special events were revolving around the fire department. Yeah. And all the families with little children, my kids grew up in the fire department, and I told them today that's where I was coming, and they wish everybody well, whoever's left from us back in those days. Yeah. Yeah. It was good.
Well, we have 3 words here in Keizer that we live by: pride, spirit, and volunteerism. And Jesse, you evoke all 3 of those. So thank you very much for talking with us here today. It's so wonderful to reminisce about what it's taken to get to where we are today. The Keizer community has supported this community. We operate under a unique funding mechanism, and we have to keep every 5 years connecting with our community and getting that support. And this year is one of those years as well. But we just want to say thank you to you. It's this building here. These new modern engines are built upon the great legacy that you and all of those first original, and you came in 63, another 15 years after it started, I believe, 48 to 63. But thank you so much for your service. Should anyone here in our audience want to connect with you or ask you about what those days were, is there a way we can connect our audiences with you?
Oh, anytime. I'm a volunteer now. I retired in 2000 from the Clackamas Fire District 1 in Clackamas. And I'm doing more work now that I'm retired than when I was working. Yeah. But anytime, either by phone, 503-266-4043, or by email, jcv1936, and I'm not going to give you the number why 1936, okay, but that's when I was born. jcv1936@camby.com.
Okay. Well, thanks for talking with us very much, Jesse. Wish you and your wife and your whole family, there's a support system that supports you, first responders, and please express to your wife and your family how grateful we are for the time that you gave to our community. Yeah. All right, and for more great stories here in Keizer, visit KeizerTV.com. Thank you.